We're coming to you to get the latest on what's going on in technology and what we can expect in the future. So, what are some of the jargon or terms that's out there that people might be curious to know about?
One of the big ones is information-free radicals. And that is, you know, just like free radicals in your body are spreading around, causing cancer, kind of misinformation, DNA misinformation. It's the same thing applied to information. A lot of times, especially in real estate, people hear, oh, the market is bad or what's going on, something like that, and they don't have all the facts. And that's an information-free radical. But one of the other terms that we're hearing a lot is single sign-on. There seems to be a big push in our industry for single sign-on, and that's where you log into one website or a portal, and you can go to other affiliated websites without having to type your login and password again. That your credentials at the first site are good to the other sites. Anytime you get a term that you don't know, you should, you know, Google's a wonderful thing. Go to Google, type it in. Some of the terms you'll need to know, some of them you won't, but you know, go and look up the definition. That's when you can determine whether you need to know them or not. You shouldn't have someone telling you what something means. And a lot of times when someone's trying to sell you something, they'll tell you this is what this means. Make sure that you agree or disagree. Find out beforehand. Do some homework.
Would you say you think technology is making things easier or harder?
I think that's really a contextual question. There's a lot of things technology has made a lot easier. It is incredibly easy to be able to create any types of content, to share it and get it shared out there. Podcasts, blogs, digital video through YouTube. It is incredibly easy to film something and get it seen across the country in a matter of minutes. It's just so much power, and even just to make flyers and that sort of thing. The computers we have today are unbelievable for content creation. The downside to that is information overload. Because it's so easy to create, there's so much more out there, and it's very difficult to keep up. So there's a lot of situations like that. And even in real estate, realtors now need to start to be technology experts as well as business experts, and that's a large time investment and a large investment in something they're not necessarily that interested in. If they wanted to be technology people, they'd be IT professionals.
So in terms of the different features on a smartphone, what do people want more? Do they want it to have a large enough screen? Is the keyboard size important? I mean, what kind of features should someone look for if they don't have a smartphone now and they're going out to the store? What should they consider?
The screen does matter because, I mean, the number one thing you're looking at your screen here. You know, you're seeing what's on there.
Right.
So having a decent resolution screen that's crisp and clear is definitely critical. I think the number two thing is having a good keyboard and typability on there. And probably in the middle of all of that is a good user interface that's simple and easy to understand, and that's where companies like Palm have, you know, stayed in the market so long, is they've got a very simple interface that people have gotten familiar with and they're comfortable with. And BlackBerry's also very excellent in making things where within 2 touches you can make a phone call, you can send out an email, so they're very intuitive and easy to use. So those are, I think, the most sought after features that you'll see in a phone. After that, then it's all the bling factor. You know, do you have a camera? Do you have, you know, is this a slick looking phone? The size? All those things come in after that.
Let's talk a little bit how you can integrate your smartphone with either like a desktop computer like you have here and you're working on, or even a laptop. And I know that you can actually use a cell phone to get an internet signal or, you know, connect to the internet at times. Is that useful? Are people doing that more now, or are there other ways to integrate smartphones with computers?
Well, one of the nice things about certain devices like BlackBerries and certain Windows mobile phones is that they synchronize data automatically, wirelessly over there. So things like your calendar, your emails, and your address book are often wirelessly synced. So what you have on your desktop is what you have on your PDA phone. So that's very important, number one. And as far as connecting over your, what's called tethering, I believe, where you tether your phone to your laptop so that you can use your phone's high-speed connection to go out on the internet, it's not as common yet, but I do see people using it more as these phones get faster and faster in technology. Unfortunately, a lot of phones right now, they're just not that fast, so it's not like sitting at your desk and be connected over a high-speed line. But sometimes, you know, push or a jam, you're out in the middle of nowhere and you need to get something out. Yes, they can do that.
So price range, what are we talking about for the type of megapixels and resolution that would be good for a realtor, both for the web and for printing brochures?
Something for real estate nowadays with the resolution and stuff, like I said, 4 or 5 megapixels, 6, it's going to be 350.
Okay.
You don't need a lot of features. I mean, they'll try to sell you everything in the world, but there are certain ones you have to look for, you know, like the image stabilization, features that you can actually set, you know, if you can actually put it in like a sport mode, a low light mode, things like that are good to have, completely not hugely necessary. There's a huge disparity. I mean, there's 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, and there's probably 50 cameras in each range. So I think if you can find some of the features you're looking for, you're good. If you start getting caught up in every feature, this one doesn't have that, this one does, it doesn't matter. What do you need it for?
Right.
You know,
So it's
if you want
what do you need versus what's the best thing out
right,
there?
yeah, because if you wait for the best thing, guess what? In 3 months, I guarantee you there's a
not gonna
better
be the
camera
best thing.
coming out.
Tell us a little bit about how resolution and that kind of thing works when you're talking about video, so virtual home tours, that kind of thing, which I'm assuming most would be on the web.
Right. Yeah, with web video, it's kind of like a camera, a still camera. I mean, you could go as high as you want. The price ranges is, and I was trying to get refreshed on those, is literally from $30 to $6,000.
Wow.
Okay, and when I say $30, a lot of people don't know it, but there's a chain. I'll keep it at that actually is selling disposable video cameras, one-time use cameras that are $30.
Wow.
That would probably be good for a realtor who, oops, I forgot it, ran out of batteries, whatever it is, have a couple on hand. But someone built off of that and made a $100 camera. That's small, compact. Video's not great, but it's good for, you know, putting something on a website. It's, you know, it's 640 by 480. It's a small. You know, that's really going to get you the frames you need, the resolution you need, and so much more in cameras. I mean, it's never-ending. Just everything. You know, even the more expensive ones don't have some of the things those smaller ones have. Price is definitely not the factor when it comes to these.
So how long should the video be? You know, what keeps people's attention these days?
Well, you know, I think on a home, it probably depends on the home itself. But like for tech, we're tech in this department, so.
So like an average home, like we would have.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, I mean, let's to do a comparison, like a tech video. It depends who's seeing a tech guy. Like, you know, some people in this department, they're going to sit there as long as it takes if it's something they're interested in, and that's the key. If you're looking at the house, and you're really not interested in it, you're not going to watch it.
Right.
But if it's a nice house and you're starting with the outside, they love it. Okay, and then you work your way in and just kind of show every piece of it, and people are like, oh, this is great, now I want to see the kitchen. You know, now I want to see the living room. But if you spent 20 minutes in each room going, okay, and then over here is the curtains, and it's like, oh my God. I mean, I think you want to highlight, you know, the size, move on.
So
okay.
think about what you're doing. You know,
Absolutely.
you might want to show the highlights first,
Yep.
and then maybe do separate videos that have more in-depth features.
Yes,
for people who want.
and I would say careful with the panning.
Okay.
I know I get sick when I look at some of those.
Right.
When you're walking through the house.
Right.
It's
The Blair Witch Project effect.
Absolutely.
You get queasy looking
Absolutely,
at
and that's where some of the image stabilization comes in, especially in lower light. So if you can find an image stabilized camera, you know, that really helps.
Can you get, I mean, could you use a video camera to do your still photography also? Or
Absolutely.
So.
But that's where it's going to be very much, they're not made for that.
Okay, so my last question is, when will the robots attack?
Last time I checked the schedule, we're on course for July 10th, 2015.
Okay, great. Got it.
All
Thanks,
right,
Keith, for your help. I
All
really
right.
appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay.